So I forgot to put a camera on for the first stint. Just rushed off my feet this morning. So you don't get to see me learning Manfeild for the first time, but this track is so different to anything I've done before. It's got most of the corners have a pretty aggressive camber on them, so you can carry a lot more speed than you'd think, I guess. I don't know what my lap times were yet, but there should be a lot more left in it, whatever they are. It also turned out I forgot to mount my transponder for the first session, so I have my lap times. Anyway, it's in there now. Brendan's Commodore was still in pieces, and Manawa 2 car clubs in light in view of safety requirements meant that my cageless Sentra Triple S was eligible to run, unlike at the Quinn-owned circuits further north. So I did the obvious thing and offered him the use of it for the weekend. Going from a 500 and some horsepower track car to a 140 horsepower front-wheel drive hatchback would be a different kind of challenge. I followed Bruce Clothier out for the second session. He quickly reeled in the 350Z of full Finlay. And here comes Team Mammoth, Team SR20DE, Team White 90s Shitbox.
Rain up for program. Let me say farewell to them, sadly. And then we also have...
Adam drove his Turbo MX-5 down from Auckland, which definitely says something about him. Ash Neil brought his spoiler along, which had a Toyota Chaser attached to it. Nicole Rivers was piloting the red and white E36 BMW, Bruce Clothier in the Starlet GT, and Brendan Purdy in the Sentra Triple S. An on-board look now at Manfeild. Like I say, a circuit unlike anything I've driven before. At the end of the 600 metre start-finish straight, turn 1 is a tightish, slightly opening radius right-hander, which doubles back into the infield, feeding into the Castrol S's with the much faster turn 2. A foot-flat proposition which rewards a late turn-in. That sets you up to brake for turn 3, a 90ish degree left that's easy to deal with if you're on the right part of the track, facing your own direction. Then it's put down again through the gentle right-hander of turn 4 before getting hard on the brakes for brambles. A tight but generously cambered left-hand hairpin that allows for more entry speed than you'd think. It's the drive out that can be tricky, with the track flattening off and rear-end grip suddenly harder to come by. The intermediate, or Dennis Holmes straight, is some 450 metres, and terminates at Higgins, a right-hander that initially appears very similar to turn 1. 7 is more generously cambered, however, and its radius opens more after the apex. That means that entry speed must be shrewdly judged in order to make use of all that track on the way out without missing the apex. The back straight of this front circuit passes by the back circuit off to the left and leads into the 7th turn, Dunlop, a tightening sweeper that feels much like Taupo's turn 11, even though it doesn't really look much like it. Overall, it's an easy track to learn, but not that easy to master. Brendan was finding that the cambered opening radius bend flattered the Sentra, greatly reducing its tendency to spin all the power away through the inside front at the drop of a hat. At the pointy end of the group is Cheryl Curran in the RX-7, with Adam in hot pursuit in the less prestigious Mazda. Definitely found a few places where I can pick up more pace. In the fast group, Greg Hurst was working feverishly to get his MR2 running after smashing the alternator mounting off his engine block. Adam had also been working hard, putting all his ingenuity into the project at hand. Session 3 was led out by Dave Brew in the Turbo EG Civic, followed by Adam, Bruce and Ash Neil. On board here with Adam as he overtakes Dave. Nicole Rivers' BMW was proving near impossible for me to shake, suddenly very concerned for the precious half-second margin I'd managed in session 2. Ashnell went off at Castrol, but having gotten the green flag I put my foot down and blew past Phil's Z. Adam got turn 1 all kinds of wrong and Bruce snuck past. Nicole was now closing in on Phil as I made up a bit of a gap. Never at any real risk of coming anything other than last in the Triple S, Brendan continued to circulate. After all, it's better to drive a slow car fast than to not drive a fast car because it's in 1,000 expensive pieces. Fucking hell. Felt faster, couldn't really shake that BMW, and I couldn't catch the 350Z, so here we go then. I started behind Phil once again, and once again caught him within a couple of laps despite his quicker times. Despite a good run out of brambles, Phil drives away from me down the intermediate straight. I make up most of what I lost on the brakes, get another good run out of Higgins, after which the big orange Z just buggers off. Here is Adam's Day 1 PB lap in the Turbo NB MX-5. The early turn into turn 2 means he has to button off mid-corner, costing him speed and ultimately compromising his line on the run into Kestrel. Putting a wheel on the curb at 4 results in the rear end stepping out, again pushing the car left and causing him to enter the corner too tight. A brake lockup pushes him wide though, proving that 2 wrongs do sometimes make a right. The slow in, fast out approach seems to work at the deceptively tricky Higgins, and then it's a long run down the back straight to the final turn. Indecision costs him on the way in. Failing to commit to a line early results in less than stellar mid-corner speed, but at least results in a smooth exit for once. That effort wouldn't be enough to keep him ahead of fellow Mazda enjoyer Cheryl. Here's a big lock-up on the way into Brambles. Meanwhile, I continue to nip at the heels of the Z, with Nicole and Brendan still giving it heaps further back.
That felt fast and I was definitely catching full. I feel like I could have stopped early, but whatever. I'm really interested to see how my lap times match up to Phil on the 350Z because, man, at times I was catching him. He never got away from me, except on the straights.
My optimism was misplaced. While I managed to stay clear of Nicole Rivers, Finlay was over a second up the road. Greg Hurst had managed to get out in session 4 to record a 1:16, but meanwhile his garage mate Brian Matchett had done something terminal to the engine of his HSV. The extremely slick LS-powered RX-7 of Hayden McDonald was sitting just clear of Dave Bruin's street class, while Adrian Rivers headed up Pro Street from a Mazda MPS of Jason Morris in an S13. Aaron Fadadao had a near unassailable lead in Pro Open, having run a minute 10 in sessions 2 and 3, 5 seconds clear of his nearest competitors. Only 2 sessions were left to run on Sunday, and I was keen to find more speed as I better learned the track. We'll see how that went next time. Thanks for watching.